Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So this is going to be part two of overcoming adversity. Hopefully I can recover the first part of this episode. Um, I was about 12, 13 minutes in. I was getting ready to finish up the deal, and it's all good. That's part of the lesson that I'm teaching, which is overcoming adversity, overcoming life throws you curveballs. So what do? You get mad, you get cry, frustrated? No, you can't. So this is going to be two parts. So uh, I can't get mad. I can't get frustrated about circumstances. And what I'm doing now is so much easier in comparison to the life I described growing up, right? And so when you overcome the emotions and you overcome the frustrations and you overcome the things that I've had to come to, then these are things are easy. Like losing a state championship game was really hard, and it was really it was a moment of heartbreak that taught me about handling defeat with grace, and so there was a lot of lessons to that. And then the transition from high school brought on a new set of challenges, right? Not knowing what direction I truly wanted to go, and I see this often with basketball players. I see this often with youth not knowing, and that's perfectly fine. They're young. Like it took me a long time to figure out what I really want to do. The one thing that I knew I always wanted to do, which was coach basketball. I wanted to take the life that I lived, and I lived a lot of the life early. And what doesn't work for you is working on you. And so, what was working on me, and how it was developing as an individual, how it was developing me as a person. And so that's the exciting part. Like that's the things where it's like, okay, um, I'm going to learn a lot from the situation, learn a lot and grow from this. And so that's the biggest thing, like learning to improve as an individual person. And so I was blessed. I was blessed with um, to be able to have these stories to craft and share them with people, and especially athletes. And I work with male basketball players, right? So that's who I work with. And so I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of different guys. The transition from high school to adult life was difficult because again I wanted a life, and I thought I was going to live a life that doesn't just generically happen, right? Like you have to manufacture, you have to understand some things. And so coming from humble beginnings, um, it was a learning curve. It was a process. I got fired early in my adult life. That was a good wake up call for me. I had a lot of, a lot of scenarios and things that happened, a lot of different scenarios and things that's happened. And so you learn from that. You grow from it. You develop as an individual. You grow as a person. And then you say, okay, not to do that again, right? Let's not do that again. Let's not make the same mistakes again. So I help athletes say, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't. You shouldn't. But if you're going to do it anyway, just know that you can overcome it. That you'll be able to. What's the best way to put it? It's possible, right? Do I want to see you struggle and make the decisions you're about to? No, but you have to, right? And that's life challenges off the court. Many times, and I'm guilty of this, thinking I'm Superman and that I'm untouchable and I'm Batman and I am Batman, right? And that nobody can stop me. So I took on that persona of Batman early in life, right? Because Batman told my story. I can see my story in Batman, and that makes a huge difference. So it's just one of those things where overcoming adversity is I'm not going to say you have to have it in you, but I was blessed that God gave me some ability and understanding to be able to overcome the things I overcame in life. And I mean, there was a lot of challenges in there. If you unpack it and you listen to the first part of what I was telling you, it was pretty emotional for me having to recount and work through that. But it's just one of those things that you have to do. And then, you become an adult, you learn some things. I started a delivery business. I was going from different jobs, really trying to figure out the thing that I wanted to do and and I would talk about it, that I want control. I wanted control, not necessarily of the things that I can't control or control in terms of God being and like overriding God, but in terms of not wanting to live a life that I don't want to live. And it took me a long time to articulate that point. because I didn't know how, right? I had mentors in a great way, but I didn't know how to communicate it. And so, one of my biggest things of overcoming was the ability to communicate. And I'm still learning this and teach my athletes how to communicate. And then, so like as we go through life journey, I'm coaching. Fast forward, and there's a whole another thing, and I'm going to stay focused on the points for today. Basically rising from the ashes in 2019 when I first got my first coaching gig at the high school level, like head coaching. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I just thank God every day that God gives me an opportunity to get up and get after it. And, towards the end of the season, having life do, and I'm not going to say the hardest punch in my show notes, it says hardest punch, but that was the hardest punch, overcoming what I did in the youth. So I never wavered from the belief that and God put some great people around me. I had a great community, school community, great people around me, with a major health crisis, self-induced because of my lifestyle, being completely overweight. I'll be honest with you. I was pushing almost 320 pounds. Um, so that almost broke me from a mental perspective of how did I get here? How did I let myself slip from where I was in high school to here? And so that in itself was difficult. And shout out to my doctor for helping me and my family and support. And that was a struggle. I've had a couple of gut punches, and that taught me some discipline, but it was working on me. And so it wasn't the thing. What doesn't work for you is working on you, and it was working for me. And so when I hit that, I'm not gonna say rock bottom, um, but it was pretty close. Losing my grandma, was tough. That was tough. Losing my auntie was tough. Losing a lot of my loved ones and family members, that's tough, right? And being old enough to be like, man, wow. But those things happen, and those was hard times. But the health thing was really the hardest. Not being in the situation because I kept my focus and locked in that I would overcome. Um, but just from a mental perspective, that um, it was a mental battle, right? Dealing with the frustration and being like, man, what the heck did I do here? Um, but I fought back. I got the weight off, gained it back. Now I'm really disciplined because I want to live a healthy life. I want control of my life. I want control of the things I can control, which is the fork. I can control the fork. Overcoming the need to eat. And I'm a foodie. I love food. I'm sure everybody does. But learning self-discipline and learning to get in control of my emotions, learning to get in control of my situations. And I feel good. I feel great today. Getting up at 5 a.m. every morning, doing push-ups and sit-ups and reading and doing the things I'm supposed to. But so it rekindled my passion. I found a renewed, I'm not going to say a renewed sense of purpose, but it reminded me of who I am, it reminded me of my greatness, it reminded me of the things that I can do and to impact the world. And so throughout these last 6, 7 years has been a journey. And I think I'm coming out of the cycle. It's been a long 6, 7 years. And that's all I'll say on that. You see the transition, you see the transformation in my content, you see the transformation in my conversations, you see the transformation in the things of how which I'm talking. And for people who work with me in normal life, uh, they'll be able to test, right? They say I got the receipts, and so they know I have what I'm talking about to be true. And so uh, some strategies to overcome adversity. First, your environment. Get around people who are going to insulate you or be insular, or they're going to um, put you in a position to be um, successful in terms of mentally and ability to take the setbacks and grow from them. And take the obstacles and not necessarily bulldoze them and pave them out the way or wish them away. No, the first thing I would say is, what is the lesson? What is it teaching? Internalize it, observe it. I would say the first lesson for overcoming adversity is observe. I'm gonna let that marinate. Observe. Observe what it's doing for you. And it's hard in those moments. Trust me, I'll raise my hand to this. I get it. It's tough. It's really is tough to do. Do I sit here and go through all this? Yes, I'm asking you to. I'm asking you to be tough enough and resilient enough to say, okay, what am I being taught here? What is the lesson? Right? Because we're all being taught lessons. I'm being taught lessons every single day. And so, on the basketball court, just do the reps. Stop scoreboard watching. I say that a lot. Stop scoreboard watching. Um, and saying, okay, you got to grit your teeth a little bit and understand that life is going to be hard work. But if you get it in your head, and I call this, and I have a program called Reframe Your Thinking. If you just reframe your thinking and how to reframe your thinking, and you can reach out to me at coach4x.com. Hit discovery call, and I can help you. And if you're not an athlete, if you're an athlete, uh, but most time, if you're an athlete, you're probably not working with me anyway. So parents, reach out. Um, and we can have a discussion. But I'll get some resources on my website, um, and take the negative emotions and turn them into positive actions. Just like I did to the game of basketball, because I had a lot of negative actions, I had a lot of frustrations. I had a lot of things where it was like, you know what? I remember one time I did something really bad in school, but I was just angry and frustrated. I'm a kid yelling out in frustration, and nobody knew how to help me. Like they're just like, this kid's a bad kid. No, I'm just a kid that's frustrated and angry. I'm angry at the world. I'm frustrated, man. And nobody knows how to communicate. I don't know how to communicate this myself because I'm 10, 11. I can only imagine. So I have empathy or sympathy, whatever the term is, empathy for kids like that. But, you know, it can also turn you into a villain. It can make you want to be destructive. It can make you want to be bad. So shout out to the people that believed in me, that's planted those seeds. And so every seed, every word is a seed or deed. And so I've been cautious on how I speak. You know, people see you in your weaknesses and they see you transform, and then they be like, there's no way he's doing this. And it's like, you don't believe that God is real and doing the things that he said he was doing. God always takes the people nobody believes is qualified. And that's what I was starting with for overcoming adversity. Lean not on your own understanding. I don't lean on my own understanding. I pray to God every day for guidance. I pray to God every day for some wisdom. I pray to God, thank God every single day. God, give me wisdom. I don't know what I'm doing. Obviously, if we all knew what we're doing, we'd all be trillionaires, right? And so I just pray God for wisdom to help me lead the next generation, to help people, and not just athletes. If you feel empowered by my words, great. If you don't feel empowered by my words, great. I understand that too. I'm not going to be frustrated. Um, and that's the lesson that I've had to learn, and being okay with that, and embracing my story, embrace your stories, and ask, what is this teaching me? What can I extrapolate from it? What can I pull out of it? Right? Like, don't let it always be like, why me? Why me? No, just say, what can I do, or who can I talk to pull the nuggets out of this? What lesson? Who can I go help serve? And so for me, I'm looking at, okay, how do I help serve? How do I help serve at the highest extent possible? And so the thing that I'm working on is my ability to communicate. I'm working on my thing to slow down, slow my brain down, and think through processes and think through information and be an astute observer. And being an observer really helped me overcome adversity because I was able to just sit down and recognize things and patterns in people's behaviors and say, what is your problem? What is really the struggle you're having in life? And so, yeah, it's exciting for me. It's exciting for me to see. It's exciting for me to um, be a part of this journey or walk this journey with you. Help my athletes. I get excited. See my athletes grow and develop and help them overcome their adversity. So I'll end on this. Uh, so those are strategies for resilience. I'll end on this. This is my closing segment. Embracing your story. Coming from humble beginnings, facing adversity, help shape me. These experiences, rather than hold me back, have empowered me. And I'm big in empowerment. I encourage the listeners, I encourage you at home to first like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Why did I say it 3 times? Because it's important. While I'm on three, while I'm on three, while I'm on three, you need three things: team, a mentor, and coach. You need those three things. And then you need a team mentor coach. And then you need a fourth thing, which is a trainer. Coach gives the strategy. The trainer gives the skills. The coach gives the strategy. The trainer gives the skills. Remember that. Three things, four things. Team, coach, mentor, trainer. Four things. Team, coach, mentor, trainer. Those four things. And so those four things, remember that. Like and subscribe down there. Okay, coachfordx.com. And here's the difference between a coach and a trainer. A coach sees the entire team. The trainer, the trainer, the trainer sees you as the individual, the skill, the things, the refined thing that you need to work on. They refine the thing that you need to work on. The coach is the big vision, right? How does this work as a team unison? And that's the difference. And so as a thinker and doer in basketball, I understand the differences. I understand the opportunities that's afforded all of us. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to learn some new disciplines. I'm excited about uh, becoming better with my speech, communicating, serving the world to the highest extent possible. Um, my personal objective is to reach 1 billion people. And if I can reach 1 billion people and impact them in a positive way, then we're doing some big things here. And if it's not 1 billion people, fine. Whatever God's plan is, great. If it's one person and that person feels it, great. Um, then I've done my job. I've impacted a generation, and hopefully they take the information and then they impact the next generation. And so these are my experiences. Like I said, rather than holding me back, and it fueled me. It's like a combustion. I can feel it motivating me now. Right? I'm like, okay, this is so easy. Like it was hard at first because I had to do the thing. I think a lot of time and reason why people struggle with overcoming things is because it's hard. It takes a lot of energy to get out of that thing. It doesn't take as much energy to stay in that thing. And so it's like, why create the mental fortitude to overcome when you can just swallow and pity and all those things? And let's not do that. Don't sit up and wallow. So it gets you four things. Okay. So let's recap here. Four things: team, coach, mentor, trainer. What do I do? So for everybody that doesn't know, my vision, the thing that I do is I mentor youth, specifically boys basketball players. That's who I work with. That's my direct market. Do the power of mentorship and pushing excellence on off the court. My players know we are striving for something. We're trying and we're figuring it out. We're not going to just come here and show up. We're going to come here with an intention and purpose to get better. Okay. So thank you for joining me on this podcast. Thank you for joining me on the show. I look forward to walking you on your journey, not mine, your journey. I know where my journey is going, and that's all in God's hand and God's wisdom, guiding hand and protection. So for you, I'm a mentor and coach and a trainer. So I'm all three, and I can be a part of your team. So if you need help, coachfordx.com, hit me up. If you don't need that, great. Stay where you are. If you don't feel like you need us, cool. It's no sweat. If you feel like you're too good for this, great. Send this to somebody that needs help. I always say this in all my videos. Why block somebody else that needs this help if you're just here to do your thing of, oh, let's see what he's talking about today. I love those people because it's like you're keep sharing though. If you're going to be here to be entertained, great. Share it to somebody that's really struggling, or go serve somebody else and ask them, do they need help? So how can I help you today? How can I assist you in a way that will serve you to the highest way possible? And so stay resilient, stay focused, let your challenges be your greatest motivator. Until next time, keep aiming high. It's Mr. Dreams to Reality, Coach Ford.